Good afternoon and welcome to Forever Sports. I am Reece Stedman and I will be hosting the stream here today for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix Practice 1. Certainly a very exciting race weekend ahead of us with obviously Practice 1, 2, 3, qualifying and the race on Sunday. We certainly hope to see you throughout all of our live sessions this weekend. Certainly a lot to look forward to. Definitely going to be a very exciting race weekend ahead of us. Will the Red Bulls be as dominant as they were in Bahrain, or will we see those timesheets being topped by another team? Still a little bit to go until we get underway for the first practice here. Just over an hour to go, but we will play our build-up package for you for a little bit before going live for the Formula 2. We certainly hope to see you then. For now, though, please do enjoy this build-up package.
And we are live. Good evening, everybody. Hello and welcome to the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. I am your host, Stevie P, and your commentator for tonight's action. And coming up in the next hour, the Forever Sports team, be taking on the circuit in Jeddah for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which obviously all the action gets underway tomorrow in Saudi Arabia. And first practice and first two practices tomorrow, practice 3, qualifying on Saturday, the Grand Prix on Sunday. But the main event, what we're all really here to do, is to watch the Forever Sports team try and take on this street circuit, and it should be pretty entertaining. But basically, I will be taking you through all the action. But before we do that, let's have a look at sort of how standings are at the moment, because we did do the Bahrain Grand Prix, and right now, as things stand after week 1, we've got Reece in the first place. He took the first win of the season. We then had Mark in second place. The N3 rappers, so known as Narupas, coming in third there. Lord Farquaad with 2 points. Jimmy Boy with 1. Newbies into the stream tonight and into the season. We do welcome Reza Snowman and Silver Beef. So they will be making their debuts tonight. Without any sort of further ado, they're currently out there having qualifying, so that should be quite entertaining. But basically, I want you guys to jump in the comments. I want you guys to let us know where you're watching from, who your favorite team is, who you're supporting. Let's get behind some drivers. As I said, Reece Stedman is the man to watch out for tonight. It's just absolutely cleaned up in the last race. In fact, he was actually just toying with this with everybody else during that session. So he'll be looking to try and make it 2 races from 2, 2 wins rather from 2. And I think for me, it's probably going to be more entertaining to see how the newbies go, and really sort of gauge where they're going to be at, and how quickly they can grasp things out in the track there, because it's a very difficult track even when the best do it. And I can assure you right now, what you will be seeing in the next hour are far from the best. So it's going to be fun, though. It's going to be fun. At the end of the day, that's the main thing. And so sit back, relax, and enjoy what should be quite a fun stream here as we head into all the action. Obviously, we'll be covering all the action, by the way, live over the weekend. So make sure you go check that all out. That will all be on Forever Sports, supposed to Forever Sports Extra. So all the gaming kind of stuff like that we're doing at the moment, that is going to take place on Forever Sports Extra, but all the actual F1 coverage, stuff like that, that'll take place over on Forever Sports. So basically, you want to make sure you're subscribed to both so that you get all the action. In fact, you want to be subscribed to all our various channels. We've got Forever Rugby, we've got Forever Football, we've got Forever Cricket, we've got anything and everything you can think of. We've got. So go and make sure you subscribe to them so that you don't miss any of the moments and stuff like that. And just going to quickly share this on the various replays. There we go. And we're now going to head over to Jeddah and catch up with everybody and see what's going on at the moment. Inferno, actually, in that Aston Martin's currently quickest. But without any further ado, let's move across to the action and see what's happening over in Saudi Arabia. And here we are. So very interested to see, first of all, we're currently on board with the Red Bull. As you can see, this is the Red Bull of Mr. Reese, I believe. We're going to be going through the various. You've got a 3-second time penalty for ignoring the player flags. That goes for Snowman, which is not looking good. And yeah, we're going to need a bit more from him, hopefully. And we want to try to see clean racing, don't we? Yeah, on board there with the Red Bull. Now moving to AlphaTauri. This is Silver Beef. We've then got the Alfa Romeo of Snowman, who did get that 3-second penalty. So interesting to see what's going on there. And we're going to bring in the sound in just a second, in terms of exactly what's happening over from the game, which is going to work in just a bit. So just trying to get the sound going, but as you can sort of see already, a lot happening from a racing perspective. So we'll get the on track volume working in a little bit, and hopefully that'll sort of rectify itself out quite soon. I'm not sure why it's not working, which seems very strange. But yeah, in the meantime, we're going to listen to a little bit of the chat that's going on, and I do apologize for any of the language and the aggression that might pop up. These guys are getting quite competitive about the whole thing. So let's have a little bit of listen to the chat that's going on. And
I'll try not in the way. No.
Right, gentlemen,
As
as you guys know,
amazing.
we are currently live, and so we've got Inferno up in first place, the Aston Martin running well. I'd like to speak to Snowman and find out why he's ignoring yellow flags though. Are you colorblind? Are you just blind? What's going on?
I'll tell you, I'll give you a very specific reason why. Because I didn't know that there were any.
So this is what I'm saying. So when you saw like the poor like Saudi Arabian guy on the side, like madly waving a yellow flag, did you think he was just supporting like McLaren and just got the
He was an Alfa Romeo fan.
Well, you know, to be fair, we are riding on board with the Alfa Romeo, and I could, yeah, I also probably wouldn't be an Alfa Romeo fan, to be fair.
Look, I mean, you know, this is my rookie season.
No, fair enough. We're now on board with the Ferrari that is the Maui Magic 93. Could be the first Maui driver ever in the sport.
Setting up the last.
Oh, there we go. Well, it could be. I mean, I'm trying to work out where this track ends and starts, and you're definitely not helping my cause here. Because
sorry, buddy.
I believe, as I said, I'm no expert, but I believe where those green stripes are, you're supposed to stay within them, and definitely off that wall.
I'm trying my hardest, I swear.
Meanwhile, we've stopped over to the Heart, who is being put back in the garage. Boy, you are currently what's going on here? You've got the slow lap.
We're struggling to not spin every single lap.
Well, he's driving a horse.
It does seem to be a driver issue, but I'm definitely going to be in the car today.
Okay, so that is why we is pitted. Meanwhile, we're out in the Aston, which seems to be doing quite well. Let's go and see what's happening in the McLaren, because McLaren's a team which just continues to underperform these days, and we'd like them to do better. And we're now on board with Lord Farquaad. How's this McLaren feeling?
The Red Bull that's on my way, please get out of my way, please get out of my way.
Hey, do you mind? We're trying to interview the McLaren driver here.
Well, it's feeling good. It's feeling better than the actual McLaren that's really driving, if I'm honest.
Fair enough. And prospects for tonight, is a podium on the cards, or are we asking too much here?
Well, after my 1 point last week, I'm feeling good. I think I'm targeting first. Probably not. Maybe second.
Second. Okay, fair enough. I like the confidence though to even say that after 1 point that you reckon you're not only going to make the podium, but indeed get into second place there. So look, I mean, we back you. We back you at the end of the day.
You got to believe, man. You got to believe.
No, 100%. And I'm all about the belief. So we've got 8 minutes left of qualifying. In the meantime, we're going to go. The Haas does seem to be out. Is it out? Yes, the Haas is out. We are on board with the Haas, who seems to be right behind. I believe is that an Alpha that's in front there?
Yeah. It's a snowman. Bit of a strange place to find a snowman.
Well, meanwhile, you've actually got. If you look on your inside,
It's an outlap. It's an outlap. We're just going slowly, getting rid of the cars.
Okay, outlap there, fair enough. That AlphaTauri coming in through.
Alpine.
Alpine rather. Right, and where's that Ferrari? Who?
I see a car, which I'm very happy about.
Well, it's nice to see the Ferrari actually out on track and not having engine issues, to be honest. So
Wow.
we're
Thanks, Dad.
Well, we gotta celebrate the small victories here because there haven't been too many as a Ferrari fan.
Oh, fuck. No, man.
Ross Bukacci is in the comments. He's asking a very valid question, and I think this can be directed to most people. Do you guys know what track limits are?
No.
What is
Are we
that?
able to obey them? No.
Fair enough. Yeah,
What the
no,
hell's a track limit?
clearly that is an issue that we are seeing quite clearly over here early on, is that track limits don't seem to be very optional. This Ferrari has gone in every part of Saudi Arabia except for the part it's supposed to.
I'm pretty sure the Alfa Romeo
Do
is
my
not doing
best
much
there.
better either.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, we've all heard about, when you live in Saudi Arabia and you have to be like confined to your compound. This Ferrari would have been shot and executed very quickly if he lived out there.
Jesus.
Listen,
Guys,
I'm
you
not
are
doing
sucking
very
up my
well.
lap here.
Okay, well,
Is
the
the Haas
Haas,
going to pull something out now?
the Haas is complaining, so let's go and see why he's complaining. He does have a bit of traffic in front of him.
That's traffic. It's just traffic.
Yeah, the
Two
Alpine
slow
not-
spokes that just hogging the entire track here.
I believe according to the clock, you are in fact the slowest person out there.
Not much longer. Come now.
The one I'm interested in is our favorite for today, the Red Bull. I believe seems to be in the pits.
Come on,
But
man. It's
Reese,
ridiculous.
what's going on? Not looking a bit unlikely. Max Verstappen wouldn't appreciate that. Why so slow?
Well, I've only been out on a set of mediums so far, so I'm going out on my first soft run right now.
Good lap, James.
Come on, son. Get out of the way.
So it's nice to hear somebody that actually seems to know what they're going on. I'm actually going to ask Ajamar, do you know what mediums are?
That's me.
Yeah, well, I'm just yeah. You did seem a bit concerned about the tires before the race, so just want to check in and see if you've worked out what's
I've got
going on.
no
there.
idea. I've got no idea. To be honest, the soft, medium, hard, they all seem the same to me, and I've got no idea what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right,
So
look,
I'm
that's
just
not the best. That's
going
not
to
the
wreck
best
the
advice.
tires that I am currently on.
Okay, so I wouldn't recommend taking that approach in the bedroom in terms of soft, medium, hard not making a difference, but it does seem to be semi-working out on the track. You're not last.
I mean, doesn't matter, got late, right?
It's well, I suppose she might not agree, depending on the approach you've taken. Meanwhile, this Haas, which is a lot of complaining, has seemed to bring it. Well, he has brought down that lap time from over 2 minutes to down to under a minute, but still sitting in last place with 5 minutes to go.
Am I actually beating someone?
Yeah, no, the Haas is nowhere. This is Nick Schumacher getting the sack. Gunter is not happy. He's already asked for Drive Survive episodes to be bumped up.
Oh,
Whoa!
what rubbish is this? What absolute nonsense! Surely that's not allowed.
What happened? What
Who
happened?
was that?
There was a little accident.
Somebody
I
just
think that-
drove me off the road.
I think that was me.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
You might say remarkably what James did to me just now.
Oh, living. I didn't drive you off the road. I just-
Surely that wasn't allowed.
Right, so we're just going to take a bit of a break from the action there. And again, that's a reminder about standing, stuff like that. We're going to try and get the audio issue sorted out with the cars during the race. We will have in-game audio. So just sort of sorting that out a little bit here. But yeah, in the meantime, as I said, we're looking at that early session. There's about 3 minutes left of that qualifying. So hopefully we will be able to get back to it. We will get back to it in the last couple of minutes to see who's going to end up finishing the fastest. So yeah, very much worth monitoring. And yeah, I think immediately we've seen Aston Martin looking pretty quick. We're looking at a straddling Haas. who's actually jumped up the leaderboard a little bit. The Ferrari down in last place, which is not where they'd like to be. So yeah, work to do from them. But with 2 minutes left, let's go across back to the qualifying and let's have a look at who's going to start there. Remember, that is how the log currently looks in terms of the season log. And Inferno still going the fastest here. So the Aston Martin, the Haas has spun out as we can cross over to the Haas, which is busy spinning out.
Oh, did I just do my fastest lap? Yes!
And the Haas, we've now just come back here. Welcome back. The Haas seems to be facing the wrong way. He has jumped up the leaderboard,
Situation normal.
which is the good
We
news.
put in a decent lap last lap.
Oh,
A bit of an out lap now.
okay.
We'll put a hot one in now again.
Why did it take so long to put you to the pits?
Well, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, yeah. So we basically got time for each.
2 minutes. There's no chance for somebody else to come out to go to the pits now and go again.
No, so
I'm trying to get back out.
No, Inferno is done. We're gonna go see what has actually happened and how he's managed to get this wrong. He's still in the pits.
no.
He's not going to be able to
He's got
come
it
in.
wrong.
Reese has just gone fastest, by the way. Late drama here at qualifying. The Red Bull's gone fastest. The Aston stuck in the pits. Maui Magic's
Haas
decided
facing the
stuff
wrong
this.
way.
He's going to have an early night. And new Jimmy boy, the question is, can the Haas get in a quick lap, go ahead of the McLaren? McLaren looking to try and get into that top 3. Still will be rid of the silent assassin in that Alpine. And he's got a bit of traffic. Maybe looking for, I don't know if he's trying to look for a tow from the Alfa Romeo, or if the Alfa Romeo is just not getting out the way. But he does manage to get past. And you're tired from the session. Here we go. The Aston Martin. Fernando fuming. Looks like second place. He's going to have to take a set for second place. And this is Alpine comes across in a really good lap time. I think the traffic is going to do. They're going to be the problem for him.
Oh no, am I in last place? Oh no.
Don't worry, you won't be lost in the race. I can't put more than 2 laps together before facing the wrong way.
And the question is, can the Alpine get in a quicker lap? There you go, the DRS zone here. And now down the straight. Oh, got a little bit wide there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, there we go. Late drama. Let's go to the McLaren, who has
Yeah,
decided
boy.
to jump into
Ryan.
third place.
Fuck.
Yeah, boy.
As you can see, the Alpine Garrett was not
Oh, my
impressed
word.
with what just happened there.
I was hot. Oh my god, I was hot in that lap.
What am I supposed to start this race on? Like, do I change tires? Does it
What,
change it for me?
the tire that you just finished your quickest lap on, that's what you're starting on.
Somebody's
I've only
getting a
done-
little education in Formula One today.
I've only used one tire because I haven't gone
Yeah,
back to
listen.
the
I mean, at the end of the day, we're dealing with experts here. People that really understand the sport, people that really understand the game. Any
Fanatics.
any accusations towards the fact that we're not taking it seriously and we don't know what's going on is very grossly off the mark. But yeah, as
Listen.
kind of expected, I suppose. The Red Bull up there in first place. He will take podium. The Aston Martin has retired. They've gone to the pub. The Ferrari might as well not even come out and qualify, to be honest. Snowman there
Wow.
in the Alfa Romeo is in sixth place. So this is how our grid's looking at the moment. Yeah, interesting signs. I think the Haas looking pretty impressive when it's not on the wall, but I suppose most cars do.
You're facing the wrong way.
I don't know what's going on.
We're actually going to write a board show with the Haas to see exactly what's going wrong and why we
The
do
Haas
like
is
to spin.
finished.
Plus, the Alfa Romeo is still going.
There's only 2 cars on track at the moment, and that's the Alpine and the Alfa Romeo.
I mean, are we supposed to
The
end
Alfa
our
Romeo is...
Is qualifying over? I thought qualifying was over.
you got this last lap.
Oh,
You got a lap to go.
Oh, so you
Oh,
went into the
yeah.
pits. Well done.
oh.
So instead of putting the time in, you went into the pits. You didn't want it. You didn't want
I
it.
think it was coasting the whole
Right.
last
Well, there we
lap
go,
anyway.
people. We've got our grid. We've got our grid. So yeah, that's how things are going to look at as when we start on the race. Lights out and away we go, and all of that jazz. That'll be coming up very, very shortly. So don't go away. And yeah, again, chuck your predictions in the in the comments. Let us know who you're backing to get this job done. when it comes to the race itself. Over in Saudi Arabia, so Red Bull fastest over there. We're going to move. Look at let's have a look at the grid. This is what we're seeing here. The Red Bull fastest, Aston Martin in second place, McLaren in third, the Alpine on the Silver Beef in fourth, the Noob Jimmy Boy and that Haas in fifth place. Apparently only South African driver there, Snowman in sixth, and the Maui Magic Ferrari. Not much magic there, unfortunately, in seventh place. And right, next thing you know, we've got a race to come.
So what do you mean? How do you? So you mustn't have full.
Accelerator.
Rev the whole time, yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Vital information being shared before the race, as you can see.
I always just go full pelt.
Yeah, we've noticed.
Well, I mean,
we have noticed.
And you always give the space, don't you, Ron?
Oh well, you should ask yourself that question.
Say that again. So I hold down A and then the accelerator.
Yeah, that's the one. And then you let go of A to start.
Okay.
We're still accelerating towards the end of the line.
Race strategy, do you care?
Yeah. That's deep.
Oh my god, what does this even mean?
Jesus.
Default strategy, alternate. What the actual?
Don't bother. Don't bother.
I don't have to go to the pits because I don't know where the pit lane is.
Alright, well, there we go. So as you can hear, as you can see here, we are just seconds away from getting underway here in Saudi Arabia. People don't know where the pit lane is. People don't know how to start. But apart from that, we really are already at lights out and away we go.
What the hell's optimal RPM?
I mean,
That was not an optimal start.
yeah, no, lights out and away we go, people. And the Aston Martin's coming on the inside there. Look at the Alfa Romeo crossing through the Red Bull. And then Alfa Romeo, he's just put the Red Bull to the wall. And the Aston Martin's got away with it. I want to start at the moment. The Alfa Romeo, I'm not sure it's entirely legal, but it seems to be working for him. And the Aston Martin putting on the early lead here. So, as it stands right now, with Alfa Romeo in third, Snowman second, Reese in third, Silver Beef in fourth, Rob Clark in fifth. Maui Matrix actually comes past the Haas, who is in seventh place. And I think we're going to go right on board now with the Red Bull and see what's going on there, because that seems to be the one that I think will be reading in that Alfa Romeo pretty quickly. This is, of course, our favourite for the day. So we're really backing. Coming on the inside there. He doesn't always get in the outside. Now he decides coming on the outside around the corner. The Alfa Romeo defending pretty well. The Red Bull, I mean, that's going to have to be investigated in terms of evading track limits there. I'm not sure that's going to be allowed.
Read that!
Meanwhile, we're hearing about a bit of beef between the hospital wall. I mean, no surprise there, really. Oh, goodness me. Why is it every single time we cross the hospital wall? You can't edit scriptures. You can't script
My game is glitching.
You're gonna move, now these excuses coming out about games glitching and stuff like that. We're now riding on board with the Alpine, who's also reining in the Alfa Romeo. After that has been set by the Aston Martin.
Yes, it's Farquaad.
You wait it to be.
Yeah, lots of accusations currently going on about going into
You're like four lengths ahead of me, then you glitch to 1 length ahead of me. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm glitching.
Now, I mean, all the issues are coming out. The technology issues are coming out. But at the end of the day, chaps, you just need a race better.
Young can be third.
He is. Still trying to track him down, but he's gone horribly wide there. Almost looks like he's being a little bit too aggressive. Again, not sure that too many track limits are being obeyed right now. It does seem to be pretty optional to stay on the track. And Watchalong has had a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I feel like he can't really complain, can he? The Alfa Romeo then trying a very interesting tactic. I think he's trying to brake test the Alpines. So having to remain calm here is Mr. Silver Beef.
A maniac in front of me.
I'm just trying to stay on it.
I'm just trying to find a bit of space in the area. He's swinging a bit wide. This Alfa Romeo is literally, I mean, I feel like you have to give it to a race. Oh, he's gone straight over. And the Alfa Romeo sneaks past and gives him a bit of a, I think a bit of a middle finger there going past that. I'm not sure you should be allowed to just swerve left and right like the Alfa Romeo is. That is in terms of a defense tactic. It is working, you know. Meanwhile, the Haas just seems to be falling further and further behind. We'll move to him after this because I'm kind of hoping to see an overtake. But Silver Beef is apparently very over that idea. DRS is enabled. Will this give him the edge? Or he has to do it in a second. And right now, he's just getting further and further back. And the Alpha Romeo, in fact, let's maybe ride on board the Alpha and see. You know, this seems to be quite an impressive little debut for the rookie.
Concentration level behind there.
But I tell you what, in fact, seems to be opening a bit of a gap between himself and the Alpine. Let's go further down the grid to the McLaren, which has just had a 3-second penalty. So that seems to be glitching a lot, but it kind of sums up why McLaren has been so rubbish.
Yeah, it's... Oh my god, this is a disaster.
Right, now on board with the Ferrari, who is taking the long way round.
Every time we come on board, it stresses me the hell out.
Man, it's good. Doesn't go under pressure, yeah.
No, a couple of tickling the walls here. Right, now on board with the Red Bull. This was our race favourite coming in, the current leader in the championship. He used to try and rein the Aston Martin in, who's got himself to a very good lead so far. And that's going to go now back all the way back to the grid to see what's happening with this Haas. Who's having a nice time, you know, it's basically like a picnic for one. You know, it's you by yourself, there's nobody else around you. At the end of the day, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but if that's your only option, it's better than no picnic. You know, we've all seen that clip of, you know, as long as I'm involved type thing. Well, it's kind of a similar sort of thing, aren't you? A bit of a lonely pigeon, really.
Ooh.
But not taking almost half a racing line popping up here from the Haas. He's got a lot of work to do if he's to try and get up to that Ferrari. However, we are apparently going to overlap. There we go, the Alpine. Oh no, the Alfa Romeo says no. Bugger you! I'll put you in the wall. Trying to come on next to me. Definitely not legal, but I don't think the Alfa Romeo really cares, to be honest. And once again, that Alpine is behind him. It's incredible teams here down in Jeddah. We are seeing basically like bumper cars, you know. But I suppose it works. Right now, I mean, no penalties have been applied to the Alfa Romeo. So despite being more aggressive than the New Zealand winger, he's getting away with it.
And pulling away from Graham.
And as we felt commentators, putting in a 2-second gap, in fact.
That's good.
Yeah, it's like a one corner right.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to get the Alpha, who almost spoke too soon. He has spoken too soon. He's going corner to, he's going wall. I mean, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we have to leave damage off, because if we left damage on, we wouldn't have a race. Yeah, I mean, it's like when you go to the bowling alley and you've got the sides up. That is basically what we're seeing here from the Alfa Romeo. He's still got his training wheels on. He's still trying to sort of eke every little last bit. But once again, we are seeing that Alpine starting to catch up. However, we've seen the story before, haven't we? There it goes.
3-second penalty.
The 3-second penalty had multiple warnings. You can't say it's not deserved. It must be said. Neither are we that surprised. What I am very surprised with, we're going to ride along with this Haas just seems to be getting further and further behind. What's going on here?
We had to do our regular spin around. We just make sure that there's nobody behind us. You know, you don't want anybody to sneak up behind for the overtake.
You could very well be lapped at this stage with the way things are going. Meanwhile, at the top of the grid, the Aston Martin has pulled up an 11-second lead, and I want to chat to the Red Bull. Reese, what's going on here?
I disconnected from the session, so I've just been able to reconnect now, so I've only just taken control.
It's a new excuse, basically saying that, you know, it wasn't my fault, I wasn't actually driving. But now it has brought that gap down a half a second in the last couple of corners, so that seems to be putting some proper pace down. Let's go have a look at our Alpine, who once again has the Alfa Romeo in his sights.
Someone tell me when I'm supposed to be pitting.
I'm pitting right now.
He's trying to come on the inside. There's the Alpine. He's trying to come on the inside. Yeah, he does seem to have been over here. He does get past it. The Alpha Male the back and he's gone through again.
Oh, time
Jesus
penalties.
Christ.
Unfortunately, he almost overdid it there, and the Alpine has finally managed to go through. It's not been good. It wasn't good. It was I think definition of dirty racing. Meanwhile, we're back with the Haas, which is now 49 seconds behind the next car, which is the Ferrari. Was
but
there
it
a
has
pit
new
stop?
tires
Was there
now.
another spin? What's happening? Are we just
No,
starting in
we got new
reverse?
tires now.
We're on
We
new
didn't have
tires.
the red ones.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're on new tires. So basically, watch out because the new tire Haas. Meanwhile, now imagine he's going into the picture. Let's have a look at the pit. Let's see what the Ferrari can pull out here. Here we go. He goes in there. Yeah, not a bad pit either. He's got the McLaren in front of him, and yeah, the pit stop might. Well, you mean should see how the pit stop's going to affect the cars. You're going to on new tires here. Will that give them more grip and mean that they'll only go to the wall 3-4 times this lap instead of about 5-6? We'll find out.
Just watch me, boy. Just watch me. You just watch me.
Right, there we go. The Ferrari out on a brand new set of tires. The McLaren also on a new set of tires. McLaren's got a lot of work to do to try and get to that Alfa Romeo. But the McLaren has been given another 3-second penalty.
Oh my god.
What's going on here?
This glitching is going to kill me, man. This is
Okay,
going
once
to kill
again,
me.
Technology coming in. And meanwhile, by the way, the Red Bull has now taken the lead.
Yes, if you'd recognise it went to the pits.
Yeah, so he's trying to blame a pit stop and try to sort of claim that that's why. At the end of the day, I
I'm
think...
disconnected though so far.
Oh!
What's going on?
What's going on?
Safety car.
We've got a safety car. We've got a safety car coming
Oh,
out.
this
it
is
doing?
very interesting.
Safety car. Oh, I'll tell you, the Aston Martin was taking the safety car. I'm not so sure he should have been allowed there. Given the fact that there's a safety car, we're going to make sure that the Haas is still in one piece. It's strange that there's a safety car out.
Haas is looking good.
Do I have to slow down? What do I have to do?
You see the green thing? Keep yourself in the green.
Basically, you get bonus points for overtaking the safety car.
Correct.
Oh god, is that the safety car there?
Yeah, that was. But it's not moving.
Yeah, it's not moving.
Yeah, that's because you're waiting for first place, so keep going around him.
No overtaking while there's a safety car.
Yeah, as you can see,
Yeah,
this
overtaking
McLaren
people. You
has
can
not
overtake the
looking
safety car.
particularly good. He's popping up everywhere. I mean, the man's apparating.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I don't even know if I'm allowed to overtake him. People are telling me I'm not supposed to.
Well, to be fair, you actually have to be able to see where he is to be able to not overtake him. So this next car is going to be interesting. It's going to back up the race. It'll allow the Haas to get back into things. It'll allow the Red
come
Bull
on.
and the Aston Martin to get nice and close. There is that safety car that we're talking about. So we're going to move up to the leaders. We should be coming up to the safety car pretty soon.
How do I go to the pits?
RB. And then just hit a right in the first option on your track.
And then he'll do it by himself.
And then it's
Why do
gonna
I
be a
have to reduce speed? What is going on?
Right, so the
Delta
Haas has
pace.
officially
You have
been
to maintain
lapped,
a certain
but
pace.
the Red Bull's not going into the pits. Interesting, under the safety car, the Red Bull is pitting. And the big question is, we're going to ask the Red Bull,
on the
Reece,
wrong tires.
do you believe you've got the pace to win this race?
Well, they've changed me onto the wrong tires, so we'll have to see.
I mean, I've heard every excuse coming out of the Red Bull. This is a Max Verstappen especially. First of all, it's this nonsense of I've disconnected. Now it's they put the wrong tires on. Yeah, at the end of the day, accountability is the name
What's
of
he
the
on?
game.
What's he on? What's he on?
Medium.
Doesn't matter.
Let's go have a look at who's on watch here.
Oh, medium.
There's definitely not, if I said, it's only the Aston that's actually on the softs here, so...
Yeah, I've just come for my second pit.
Right, so second pit. We are now
What do I have to
5
do
laps
with this?
away. The Red Bull has pitted. They are on fresh in the mediums behind the safety car, and you will have 5 laps on these. So the question is, will the soft of the Aston Martin have the pace over the Red Bull? Will the Haas not be lapped?
Safety cube.
Ferrari's coming in for another pit as well, as is the Alfa Romeo who's just gone back out. But yeah, as I said, with the safety car, it feels to be backed up a little bit. Should make for a pretty exciting finish. And we're going to move back to the Aston Martin, who's almost gone to the back of the Red Bull, trying to heat up the tyres there. Trying to work out, looks like the safety car has gone in, if not.
No, it's just gone far ahead.
Oh, what's going on?
Ah, there it is, there it's safety car, he has managed to rein it back in. So as it stands, Reese in first, Inferno in second, Silverbeef in third, Snowman the Alfa Romeo in fourth, the McLaren in fifth, and the Ferrari down in sixth, and the Haas basically here for shits and giggles. Bit of lag here with the Red Bull.
Clearly, yes.
Oh, I've got real bad.
Safety car key.
Well, at the end of the day, just get better instincts. Don't make your problems our problems.
Goddamn MTN.
Ask the answer. How can we help you? Right, the Red Bull.
He's just not currently deciding he doesn't
Got
want
a
to wait
pass-
for the
he
safety
doesn't
car.
need a safety car. He's gone straight past the safety car and said, you know what, I'm out of here. And this is an interesting
gonna
move. He's
prolong the
gone
safety
for
car, and he
another
knocked.
pit. He did say he thought he was on the wrong tyres, so here come the softs. Yep, the softs are on now. Big moment in the race. He's managed to put himself on the softs. He's forfeited the lead. He's actually going to come out in fifth at this rate. So, Reese, yes, you were on nice tyres, fewer laps now, and you're further back. What do you back
But
this
I'm
energy?
42 far back. No.
Yeah, I think I'll be a lot faster.
A lot
Definitely
faster.
than
There you go.
mediums. Just have to hope Mark doesn't pull out too much of a gap.
There we go. Well, it's all about navigating the traffic, and if there's one thing I would like to, one piece of advice is if when you get to that Alfa Romeo, be careful because it has been bumper cars out there. Right, so we're pretty backed up here, apart from the Ferrari and the Haas who are in another province.
Probably another country.
Yeah, listen, the Haas is in a different time zone, so that's why their timing is a bit different. But when this race restarts, it's going to be very interesting to see how this Red Bull has to try and navigate through the traffic and try and catch that Aston Martin. They are on the same set of tyres. Only two cars that are on softs, I believe. Yeah, still only two cars on the softs.
No. Pushing too hard.
There's a lot of jostling for
and
positions
good news is
behind
the
me.
Ferrari is now caught up as well.
Haas is on the halfway line, halfway behind us. Literally halfway around the track.
So
compared
the
to us.
Haas-
He was
Haas-
almost there, and then he decided to as usual, flip the whole spinning.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, that whole hard training dragon scene and now we're spinning was invented by the Haas.
And now the spinning.
Spinning.
Right, so
Oh, this is boring.
safety
coming
car
in.
coming in. Here we go, boys. The Aston Martin will have the opportunity to restart the race. The Red Bull's going to try and get through quite a few cars to be able to start attacking him. Watch out for the Alpine in second place. The Alfa Romeo in
Don't
third.
overtake me,
Wolfsburg
chop.
in the McLaren in fourth. The Ferrari's also caught up. The Ferrari's going to probably have a bit of a go on the Red Bull, which is going to be quite audacious. And then the Haas, well, again, he's just having fun. Safety car almost in, and then it's time to start racing again. 4 laps. It's going to be non-stop action here inside the They got the safety car, and it looks like we're back and running. And the Red Bull's been a bit sort of delayed going in through. The Alfa Romeo behind that Alpine going around the corner there. The McLaren tries to sneak through. Aston Martin's. Well, gee. Oh, the Ferrari's come through with the Red Bull out of nowhere. The Magic Maori, like a stone that suddenly qualified to play for New Zealand. He's just come in and made it his own. I love it. I love it.
Oh my god!
Oh goodness! Oh, there it's gone. Maori Magic. He gets but this could be the Red Bull race gone. He's had to start.
Yeah, I've disconnected.
He's just crashed straight into the wall there, did the Ferrari, the Alpine as well. Seems to manage to get going again. That could have been the race. I mean, massive racing incident there. In fact, I don't know how we don't have a safety car back out.
Oh my word, that was
Huge
exciting.
collision there. We're now going to have to go up to the Alfa Romeo. He's really the only one that has a chance of catching the Aston.
He's got a 3-second time penalty.
Right, the McLaren now trying to lock down that Alfa Romeo. Going back to the Red Bull, which is right behind the Alpine. Not too much space at the moment. Just trying to find that opportunity to try and sneak through. Meanwhile, the Haas has put a little ground on the Ferrari. There we go. This should be the opportunity here for the Red Bull. Trying to go around the outside there. Has he got the pace? Has he got the pace? Right up against the wall. He's trying to get ahead of him, but the Alpine shuts the door. Red Bull trying to go down the inside now, but once again, good defending here from the Alpine. He's remaining patient. There's the Ferrari in the back there. Last 2 laps to go. Yeah, the Red Bull's got a lot of work to do if he wants to try and find that podium. It's probably gone, to be honest. But 4th better than 5th is there. And we've got Farquhar who is going to move up to the team with the McLaren. He's up on the Alfa Romeo. This should be an entertaining battle. As I said, once again, neither are really kind of ignoring the track limits. They're kind of just racing where they want. But the McLaren now right up behind him. Takes a decent amount of speed around the corner here. You should see how the Alfa Romeo will defend. We're going to go on board here with the McLaren. Who smacks away. Oh, he spun and he spun and he spun.
Yeah, that's what you did. Coming and moving me up.
You booted me, man.
The Alfa Romeo pulled away. He's on
I
the
was
pressure.
literally driving. Next thing I just feel this next to.
Right, well that has allowed an opportunity for the Red Bull to try and potentially maybe see a podium. He's got 4 seconds to make it for 2 laps. So you've got to manage to get past the Alpine. So a big push here coming from the Red Bull, a late push coming here from the Red Bull. Meanwhile, the Alfa Romeo actually does seem to be gaining on our race leader. So could we see the most unlikeliest of wins from the Alfa Romeo on his debut, rookie season here. DRS is enabled. This could be a big moment in the race here. 1 lap remaining. Yeah, the Red Bull doing a lot to try and rein in this McLaren, but let's go and see what this Alfa Romeo. You can see the Aston Martin over there. And just supporting here, not to make any mistakes here. That's the main thing here coming in from the Alfa Romeo.
Oh, my tyres are so gone. Actually, I should never have changed.
Here come the excuses already, just trying to make sure that when he does get reeled in, that he's got the excuse in the waiting. I just, at the end of the day, I think the biggest takeaway from this is it should teach me zero accountability across this grid.
Get out the way.
Alfa Romeo, particularly in the wall there, that seems to be falling back a little bit. Do we ask what's happening to the Red Bull here?
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, Miss Mark. No, I spun.
Oh, you spun. That makes sense. That makes sense. Right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we've now, in what we could have never predicted, the Haas is now, sorry, is almost within 10 seconds. He is within 10 seconds of the next person. And meanwhile, the Red Bull is reigning in the Ferrari. This is usually a battle for 1-2. Today is a battle for 5-6. The question is, can the Magic Maori keep them out? Let's go around the outside. The Ferrari. Let's swim in front of him and does decide to give him a bit of a shove.
Wow. Seriously?
Well, the Ferrari's
I
on
didn't even touch
press.
your man.
He reckons
It's
that the Red
glitching a
Bull's
lot.
done it. And we're going to move up to our race leader, the Aston Martin, who looks like he's going to go all the way despite bitching about his tyres. Does seem to be fine. A few more corners and he will be winning his first of the season here. That'll definitely even out the points here. Then the Red Bull, the Red Bull disaster class, really. Oh, there we go, a 3-second penalty. All of a sudden, the Alfa Romeo needs to rein in 1 second, and he will be the winner. A 3.3-second penalty, but the Alfa Romeo deciding actually just nah. A 3-second penalty. I'm assuming that's for evading track limits. It was quite dirty of the Aston Martin. He's been everywhere. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like the Alfa Romeo is really going to be able to manage to take advantage of that gift.
It does have a time penalty himself, so.
Yeah, but the rules never apply to the entire race. So basically, people, what we're looking at here is there's a lot of time penalties, and we actually don't know who's ending where because you're going to have to sort of update all around the race. So this is the exciting thing at the end of the day. Everybody goes over the line, and then we actually have to reassess and see who's who and who. Currently riding on board with the Alfa Romeo. He's starting to bring his time down. As I said, that decides your card to the wall. And there it is. And the Aston Martin
need another
crosses
lap.
the line. Should have the victory. Doesn't have a time penalty to surface, as does half the grid, so should be alright. The Alfa Romeo comes in at second. Lord Farquhar in the McLaren does get a podium. We're going to go back to the Ferrari, who is just battering against the wall here, and it looks like he will actually come in sixth because the time penalty for him right behind it is the Red Bull. He will come in officially at sixth place, but that'll be reassessed. And all the way at the back, the Haas has made it. He has made it. We worried at one stage. We were a little bit nervous he wasn't going to make it.
What?
And the driver of the day does go to the brave defending of the Alfa Romeo.
Oh, yes.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was another just
That was a
action-packed
great race, I must say.
race
That's
from
what I'm talking about,
the
boys.
Forever Sports lads. You know, you couldn't ask for more. I mean, it's definitely going to be more entertaining than whatever you're going to watch on Sunday. So, this is, you've heard of Football Heritage, this is Formula One Heritage. Here comes Fernando Alonso.
I'm actually in shock.
There's the Alfa Romeo, did get driver of the day, the McLaren, big grin on the podium there as well. The Chappers are coming out.
How can I not see the video?
It's loading still.
There's the Aston Martin team,
You're not going to see an
brave.
Alfa Romeo and a McLaren on podium at all this season, so bask in that glory.
Yeah, so the Champers is out, and then Aston Martin. Well, it went from being first on the. He did take qualifying, and yeah, from first in the grid to first in the race. There is the
Second in
final
the grid.
standings there. The Ferrari coming in last with a 9-second penalty.
How?
He asked for what? I think anybody that watched would probably be able to answer that. The McLaren, despite a 6-second penalty, still getting in at third there, and the Red Bull. Well, it's a bit of a disaster result down at fifth. That is going to make a lot of changes to the overall standings in the Forever
So
Sports
over this
Formula
day.
One. Yeah, the Ferrari's bit. He's complaining. It's really standard, you know. And at the end of the day, what can they change? They can try and change team principles. They can try and find different drivers, but 9-second penalty for basically being shit is just something you got to deal with.
I got rammed off the road.
To be fair, I don't think you really respected what they call a racing line. And that, ladies and gentlemen, as they say, is that. Thank you very much for joining us for what has been another really entertaining Formula One from the Forever Sports team. This has been your commentator, Stevie P. We'll be back next time. Until then, do smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel as well. And we're going to have lots more sports coming up. We're going to get some FIFA going, get some cricket as well. So it's been a fantastic day on the track. Join us this weekend for all the various coverage of the Formula One across on Forever Sports, as well as lots of different rugby and stuff like that. Also happening over at Forever Sports. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments as well.
Yes, well, that was our build-up package that we had for you. Just a recap of our gaming session that we did last night. We will do that every Thursday. It's certainly quite a lot of fun. Hopefully, my performance yesterday was not indicative of, well, at all of how Red Bull will be performing this weekend, as it was quite poor. But yes, certainly very exciting. Under half an hour now until we get underway for Formula One's Practice 1. At the moment, we have Formula 2 starting for their second practice session. Let's just go across to their live timing boards. Certainly very exciting race weekend ahead of us. Obviously, Saudi Arabia being such a fast circuit, we should see quite a lot of action happening out on track. Let's just see what is happening now. Just switching across to this Formula 2 live session at the moment. Cars obviously out on track right now. We have obviously quite a few people out there. Just exciting to see all of these up and coming drivers for this next year of Formula 2. Obviously, we have some big names such as Charles Leclerc's younger brother, Arthur Leclerc, who is obviously competing here in Formula 2. We also have Emerson Fittipaldi, one of the greats of the sports, his grandsons. We also have Ralph Boschung, Theo Pourchaire, Vesti, for sure, Jean-Manuel Correa. Obviously, lots of big names that we have seen throughout the year in Formula 2. Certainly very exciting to see what they can get up to throughout the rest of the season. I will leave this timing screen up for now, and then I will join you in 27 minutes for the Formula 1 first practice session. Please do stay online with us, and I will see you in 27 minutes. Good afternoon and welcome back to Forever Sports here, streaming from Forever Motorsports. We are 10 minutes away from being live at the Saudi Grand Prix circuit. 10 minutes away from practice 1 here. Obviously, biggest news going into this weekend is that Charles Leclerc has a 10-place grid penalty for taking a new set of controlled electronics. This is his 3rd set of the season, obviously only the 2nd race. It is what caused that massive failure at the last Grand Prix in Bahrain. So certainly something that Ferrari will be wanting to get to the bottom of. Ferrari should be extremely competitive here this weekend, with their car being so fast down the main straights, as well as this track having less degradation on the tyres, as we saw out in Bahrain. Should hopefully make a lot closer racing between the Ferraris and the Red Bulls this weekend. Obviously, Red Bull just showing to be so strong at the moment. But yes, very exciting to get underway here in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, please do leave us a like, drop a comment, or subscribe if you do enjoy all of our content that we put out for you. Also, please do look at the link in our description to see how you can watch the Formula 1 live alongside with us. Yes, please also drop a comment down in the comment section letting us know who you think is going to top the timesheets for this race weekend. Arisha Ahmed saying, when is it going to start? We have, I think, about 8 minutes left to go. Yes, 8 minutes and 20 seconds left to go until the start of this first practice session. I'm certainly very excited to see cars back out on track. I'm sure all of you are as well. Certainly excited to see how the Aston Martins do here in Saudi Arabia. Just been listening to the official live stream here, seeing what people are saying. Just very interesting to hear that they believe that the Ferraris are going to be a lot more competitive. I'm downplaying a little bit the Aston Martins. Not so confident that they are going to be so competitive here in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, this being such a fast street circuit, certainly one that we should see. Sergio Perez doing very well. Sergio Perez in the past really enjoying street circuits, sometimes even outperforming Max Verstappen in the likes of Monaco last year. Whether that's going to actually happen, we will have to see. But yes, very exciting to see the lights go out here in Saudi Arabia. Just going to try and sort out our live tracker for you here. We have 6 minutes and 40 seconds left to go until free practice 1 gets underway here in Saudi Arabia. Just seeing some of the commentators down in the paddock, just having a look at all the cars getting underway. Hopefully we will see them getting on track very soon. 5 minutes left to go. There we go. We now have our live times up and running. We should be able to cut across to that now. There we go. Certainly very exciting now. 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go until we get live here in Saudi Arabia. Certainly one of my favorite tracks out on the Grand Prix calendar. Just such a demanding track in terms of driver focus. I mean, it is most of the lap you're spending at full throttle. Just so many tight and twisting curves that we see, especially that large hairpin turn. Yes, we see Mark commenting down in that comment section saying that we get underway at 3:30. Not long left to go until we go live here in Saudi Arabia. Just watching some great shots of the circuit, looking great under that baking, I'm sure, very hot Saudi Arabian sun. Just watching that coastline, it is such a beautiful track that we have here. Only the second year that we are racing here in Saudi Arabia, as we now see the Formula One titles rolling. So not long left to go until we get underway here for free practice 1 in Saudi Arabia. Please do let me know what your thoughts are for this weekend, who you think will be quite competitive. Cornelius Rue saying, who is your favorite driver? I have quite a few, but currently I'm supporting Max Verstappen, Lando Norris. Obviously was supporting Sebastian Vettel before he retired. Charles Leclerc also being one of my favorites. So I do try to stay a little bit impartial, but obviously that's not necessarily always the case. But we are certainly hoping to see those Ferraris being competitive yet again this weekend. Obviously last race weekend, not having the greatest start to the season with a DNF for Charles Leclerc and falling off of those podium positions for Carlos Sainz, who was in third until he got overtaken by Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin, having a great debut out in Bahrain. Just checking some statistics now about this race, just having a look at how many races we have this season. Obviously Australia being next on the calendar. 72% of the lap is spent at full throttle. That is incredible. The track distance is 6.1 kilometers, 3.8 miles, and the current race lap record is set by Lewis Hamilton with a 1:30.7. We should certainly be seeing that lap time being beaten this weekend by these drivers. As we've seen in Bahrain, the lap times just falling compared to last season. Teams getting to grips with these new cars, getting to grips with the little technical regulation changes for the season. Certainly very exciting to get underway here. We have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go till we have a green light for the first practice here in Saudi Arabia. Cornelius, you asked me who my favorite driver is. Please let me know who your favorite driver is. We currently have 70 people alongside us watching. Please do like our video, drop a comment, as well as subscribe if you are enjoying our content that we are putting out. We will be live for each of the practice sessions this weekend, as well as Formula 2 and Formula 3 qualifying, and then on Sunday, of course, for the main event, the race here in Saudi Arabia. Not long left to go until we get cars out on track. 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Certainly very, very close until we get underway. Obviously, a week and a bit of break from Bahrain. Just a little. He, of course, only arrived yesterday afternoon. Ferrari's also challenging for those front positions on the grid. Not long left to go, less than a minute now until we get the green light here in Saudi Arabia. Just having a look now at Fernando Alonso in his title challenger. Hopefully we will see him challenging for this Drivers' Championship or even the Constructors' Championship. Obviously a lot of work to do if they want to compete with those Red Bulls, but they are showing to be quite competitive so far. Looking right now under the visor of Charles Leclerc, also getting ready to go out here in Saudi Arabia. Once again, as I spoke about at the beginning of the session, Charles Leclerc will have a 10-place grid penalty for the Sunday race. His team taking a new controlled electronics for him, the third of the season, so he will receive a 10-place grid penalty for that. The reason why he has taken a new controlled electronics unit is because he that is what caused his DNF in Bahrain, and you're only allowed 2 per season, and he is now on his 3rd one, which of course means he will be receiving that penalty. We now have that green light, and we see Valtteri Bottas going out on track. just watching a lot of tracks now, a lot of cars now going out on track. We see Lando Norris getting ready to do a race start practice here. Just watching a bunch of cars going past him. Oscar Piastri going past him. As Oscar Piastri, sorry, not Lando Norris, makes that practice start here, we can see some of those lap times now starting to light up as we have cars out on track. Now we see the second McLaren doing a practice start with that pink Alpine behind him. Interesting to see that we have some sensor arrays being put on the cars, so still testing getting done in the second race of the season. Some teams still not 100% confident in their cars, so still doing some aero testing. We have some cars very close together at the moment with the AlphaTauri and that Alfa Romeo looking so similar. It's quite difficult to tell the difference between those two. We now have some sector times being put up by these drivers. Obviously nothing too quick just yet, as they are all on their first sighting laps before they actually start to push. We have some... Just having a look if we have any more comments down in our comment section. Please do drop us a comment. It makes life much more interesting for me if I can chat to you guys as well. But yes, we currently have, I'm currently watching Lance Stroll getting ready to go out, still in the pits at the moment. But we also watch Sergio Perez leaving his pit box, just getting so close. Ooh, he had to stop and get pushed back again. These pit lanes are so tight. Obviously with street circuits we have much smaller pit lanes, much tighter pit lanes of course, and these cars being so long. Just rewatching Sergio Perez, as he comes out of the pits, he comes right up to the wall and has to be pushed back by his mechanics in order not to hit that wall, and then he is able to get out underway. 57 minutes left of this practice session, as we now have the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc out on track. Certainly going to be watching him very, very closely to see if we can see if he will be able to compete for the race win this weekend. He is currently out on a set of hard tyres, as we have currently out on track Nick de Vries, Oscar Piastri, Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hülkenberg, Alexander Albon, Guan Yu Zhou, Yuki Tsunoda, Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, Esteban Ocon, Logan Sargent, Pierre Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Lewis Hamilton. Currently still in the pits is Max Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll, and George Russell. So still a few cars obviously left to get back out on track, as we see Sergio Perez out with a few sensors off the side of his car. Also just doing some correlation testing possibly. Obviously Red Bull not allowed to do many runs in their wind tunnel because of the reduced testing that they have, obviously, for taking that Constructors' Championship, as well as their penalty for breaking that cost cap last year. So they will be doing a lot more on-track testing as opposed to wind tunnel testing this season. 100 people currently watching us live. Thank you very much for joining us. Please do drop a like as well as subscribe to us if you do want to watch more content throughout the season. Obviously such a long season ahead of us. This is the second of 23 races this season. Very excited to get underway. Please do also vote in our poll that has just popped up. What team do you expect to make the most progress from Bahrain? Certainly, a lot of fans will be hoping for Mercedes to be making some big gains. They did hint that they should have some noticeable differences on their car from last race to this weekend, as we see Sergio Perez sparking along, coming through the corner, going a bit wide there, going over track limits in turn 24, now turn 25. Currently purple sectors 1 and 2. Let's see what time you can put in. I see a 1:32.969. Still quite off the pace, obviously on soft tires at the moment, but off the pace of that lap record from Lewis Hamilton last year. 2 seconds off so far, but we do not know what fuel runs they are on, possibly high fuels. Also just doing that aero testing at the moment, so you don't know what their run plans are right now. Max Verstappen still not out on track, as Fernando Alonso and George Russell currently are on outlaps. Please do vote in that poll, as I said earlier, in our comment section, letting us know who you think will make the most progress from last race weekend to this race weekend. Just watching some onboards of Sergio Perez where he went wide into turn 24. Hopefully not causing any damage to the floor of that car. That would not be great if he has damaged that floor going so wide there in turn 24. Currently, we have Sergio Perez in P1 with a 132.9, closely followed by Carlos Sainz, only 0.4 seconds behind him on a set of hards, with Sergio Perez being on a set of softs. So certainly very different run plans happening at the moment, but still a long day ahead of us, with practice 2 still ahead, as well as 53 minutes still left of this first practice session. As we see Charles Leclerc now putting in a faster lap time with a 133.4, taking that second spot on the timesheet right now. Aston Martin, with the likes of Fernando Alonso currently out on track, looking so comfortable there, looking so neat and tidy, well within track limits for Fernando Alonso. Currently 1.4 seconds off of the lead time, but once again, we do not know what run plans they are doing right now. Of course, it is extremely hot right now under the baking Saudi Arabian sun, so they will not be doing too many race runs for Sunday, as it will be out under the lights. Not necessarily what track conditions are at the moment, possibly a bit more indicative for qualifying, but qualifying is also still late in the evening, will not be anywhere near as hot as this. Charles Leclerc has currently set a first fastest sector, not improving though on his middle sector. Let's see what he does in that final sector, whether he is able to go even faster, as he does finish now and puts himself back into second place, closely followed by Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc with a 133.1, followed by Carlos with a 133.2. So very closely matched between those two Ferraris right now, showing quite strong on those hard tyres. Currently riding on board with the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, not showing as much porpoising as we saw last race weekend. Just looking so neat and tidy though for Charles, not having to put too much steering input in, not having to correct himself too much through those tight corners. Just watching an onboard now of Carlos Sainz, getting so close to that AlphaTauri, almost going into the back of him. That could have been disastrous. Luckily, that was very close. That AlphaTauri was going off the racing line and then just decided at the last second to go back on the racing line. Not very safe from him. Obviously, this is the fastest street circuit in the world. You do not want to be getting in the way or have traffic getting in your way. It could end up being quite disastrous here. 150 people currently watching us. Thank you very much for joining us. Please do check the link in the description on how to watch the Formula One alongside us. Please do check that out, as well as drop a like and a comment down in our comment section. And please do also vote in our poll, letting us know who you think will make the biggest gains from last race weekend to this race weekend. Obviously, biggest talk from last week to this week is that open letter that Mercedes released to their fans, pretty much just saying that they already know they are on the back foot, as Fernando Alonso currently puts in the fastest lap of the session with a 132.8. Just carrying on with the Mercedes talk, Mercedes having said that they know that they are on the back foot, they know they have a lot of work to do throughout the season. They are all disappointed, not only the racing drivers, but from them all the way to the team down in Brackley, certainly are going to be having to put in a lot of work throughout the season. Currently riding on board with Lewis Hamilton, we can still see how his head is bouncing up and down with the porpoising. Certainly not having sorted that out. Let's see what lap time he puts in now, as he puts in a 132, well, a 132.6 to put himself at the top of the time boards, currently on a set of hard tires as well. Mercedes having said between last weekend and this weekend that they will have some noticeable changes on their car. Right now, looking at it, I do not see too much difference, but I'm sure we will have some tech analysis throughout this race weekend looking quite into detail on that car to see what they have changed. Looking quite neat and tidy though for Lewis Hamilton on that lap. I'm sure he will be a bit happier at the moment having that fastest lap time. Certainly there's been a lot of talk about Lewis Hamilton, whether he will be looking elsewhere for next season as his Mercedes contract comes to an end at the end of 2023. Lots of speculation that he will start talking to Ferrari. I personally don't know. He might. Just listening to George Russell at the moment saying that there is some vibration going through the car through turns 17 and 18, certainly not what they will be wanting, as Sergio Perez has now put in the fastest first and second sector on a set of soft tires. Let's see what lap time he can put in for himself. Please do let us know down in the comment section who you are supporting, what you expect for this race weekend, and anything else that you have to ask me. Any questions I will be happy to answer, as Sergio Perez is now coming to the end of this lap, currently 7/10 up on Lewis Hamilton's lap time, and has put himself back in that top position with a 1:31.4. So far though, Hamilton setting quite a good pace for the session on those hard tyres, quite a bit ahead of those Ferraris. Obviously, once again, I will keep saying this, we do not know what run plans they are all on, but still looking quite competitive right now, which will be quite good for those Mercedes drivers and the team back in Brackley. We see Max Verstappen now getting ready to get in his car. Wheels are still off of the car right now, but he is hopping in. Obviously, news from him over the week and a bit off. He was down with a stomach bug over the past few days, so he came to Saudi Arabia a day later than anyone else, as he felt he was not fit enough to travel until yesterday. Glad he is back though, and hopefully we will be seeing him in the car very soon and out on track in the next few minutes. Watching Carlos Sainz, we have he had set the first fastest sector, but Charles Leclerc has just taken that away from him. Just looking closely at the front wing of that Red Bull, they have come here with a small update on that main wing. Obviously, we will be seeing Red Bull not able to bring as many upgrades throughout the season due to that cost cap breach that they had. They have been penalized in terms of development and wind tunnel testing. So we will not be able, Red Bull will not be able to update that car as much throughout the season. So they will be trying to make any small gains that they can, not necessarily through wind tunnel testing, but through testing on track. They will have to be doing things quite old school this year. I'm sure Adrian Newey will be loving that, but quite a bit of frustration for the rest of the team, I'm sure. As we see Charles Leclerc now finishing a lap, putting himself back into second position with a 1:32.005. Very, very fast on that set of hard tyres right now. Certainly we will be expecting them to be on lower fuel runs right now, but it is obviously quite unknown between all the different teams. We do not get given that information, but all we can do is speculate. George Russell, they're going past the Ferraris, coming past Ferrari as well as another Mercedes. Just a lot of traffic. We always see that happening on the circuit though, as it is so tight and such a fast circuit. You seem to catch those just listening to Charles Leclerc on the radio saying, yeah, that was too late from his race engineer, as his race engineer only let him know of George Russell coming up behind him as he was pretty much overtaking him. Luckily, there was not anything catastrophic happening. No incidents, so far, as Fernando Alonso has now set the fastest first sector time. Let's see what lap time he can put in for himself as his rear wing is wide open through turn 21. Approaching turns 22 and 23. Neat and tidy through there. Not breaching any track limits. Now turn 25. Wing straight open again. Down the last back straight before the main start-finish straight. Let's see what time he puts him, as he now puts himself on pole position with a 1:31.2. Just great to see Fernando Alonso back at the top of his game, looking so strong in that Aston Martin car. He certainly has landed his bum in the butter with that Aston Martin, coming from Alpine, who are currently sitting down 8th position with Pierre Gasly. I'm sure he will be very happy to be in such a competitive car this season. Fernando Alonso currently with the fastest Sector 1 and Sector 3 times. Currently, I cannot see who has the fastest Sector 2 time, but it is not Fernando Alonso, even though he has that fastest lap time right now. Currently watching Max Verstappen in the pits. Looks like he will be getting out on track very soon. Tire blankets on still, but mechanics looking to remove them right now. 190 people currently watching us. Thank you very much for joining us. We certainly are very happy to have you watching alongside us for Free Practice 1 here in Saudi Arabia. Please do drop a like, subscribe to our channel if you want to see us more throughout the race weekend as well as throughout the rest of the season. Such a long season ahead of us. Certainly very exciting to be getting to know a lot of you. And please do vote in our poll in the comment section who you think will make the biggest gains from the first Grand Prix to this one. So far, it is very close between Ferrari and Mercedes down in that poll. 42% saying Ferrari will make, as I see, 43% now. Ferrari will make the biggest progress. 36% saying Mercedes will make the biggest progress this weekend. Certainly, a lot of fans will be hoping that Ferrari will be able to challenge for the race win this Sunday. Obviously, very disappointing in Bahrain that the Ferraris had such a disappointing weekend with Charles Leclerc having to DNF due to that controlled electronics failure that caused his engine to fail in Bahrain. Also, massive disappointment for Mercedes, only finishing, I think it was 5th and 6th in Bahrain. Just still having so many issues with that zero side pod design of theirs. As we see Sergio Perez now setting a purple first sector time. Let's see what he can do in the second sector. Currently 0.1 second, well, 1/10 up on everybody else's fastest first sector times as he puts in now a purple second sector. Let's see what he can do throughout the rest of this lap. Certainly a very exciting race weekend ahead of us. Saudi Arabia being such an exciting track to watch. The fastest street circuit that we have on our Formula 1 calendar for the season. 72% of the lap is spent at full throttle. As we see Sergio Perez now putting in the fastest lap time of the session with a 130.5. Not far off of Lewis Hamilton's current lap record, which is a 132, I think, 0.2. So not long to go until we see that race lap or that lap record falling here in Saudi Arabia. Fernando Alonso, though, not keen to have that fastest lap time taken away from him as he has set another fastest first sector. Currently not able to match the second sector, though, of Sergio Perez. Let's see what he can do in that final sector. We have seen him being so fast in that final sector. Let's see what he is able to do. As he is currently not able to beat the lap time of Sergio Perez, but so close between those two cars. Sergio Perez with a 130.5 and Fernando Alonso with a 130.7. So evenly matched between the Aston Martins and the Red Bulls. Obviously, lots of humor and jokes happening from the Red Bull garage saying that the Aston Martin is a green Red Bull. Certainly, it is very similar in terms of design concept to that Red Bull. But I'm sure the Aston Martin team will be making a lot of developmental changes throughout the season to make that car just as competitive, if not more competitive, than the Red Bull. They certainly have a good opportunity this year to be able to take the fight to the Red Bulls, with the Red Bulls having those cost cap penalties for this year, not being able to have as much wind tunnel testing time. As we see Yuki Tsunoda with a big lockup into turn 27, certainly not what Yuki would have been wanting. He may have to pit if he has flat spotted that tyre too badly, but hopefully he will be alright. Just looking at the seat of, I think that is Lance Stroll, we see it has a gold leaf on the back of the seat, obviously for thermal conduction, obviously to hopefully allow the driver not to get too hot in that car. Obviously right behind the driver is that engine, which gets so hot sometimes the drivers can lose 2 to 3 kgs throughout a race, just showing how hot it gets in those cars. As we have Max Verstappen currently out on track, let's see what he can do in his first sector, as he is only half a second away from everyone else on his first flying lap. Let's see what he can do throughout the rest of the session. Max still on this flying lap at the moment, obviously not matching any sector times of the fastest laps right now. Obviously only his first flying lap, so he will probably be still on some high fuel at the moment, but we should see his lap times starting to fall throughout this session. Obviously still 37 minutes left of this free practice 1 session in Saudi Arabia. Please do leave us a comment down in our comment section letting us know who you are supporting, any questions that you have, anything Formula 1 related. I will be happy to answer. Max Verstappen now finished that lap time, putting him in 3rd place right now. Charles Leclerc currently in the pits, not doing any more lap times on those hard tyres. We also have Alex Albon, Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, Nick de Vries, George Russell, Kevin Magnussen, Logan Sargent, Yuki Tsunoda, Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hulkenberg, Lance Stroll, and Guan Yu Zhou also in the pits right now. Bit of a lull in action out on track. As I say that though, Fernando Alonso yet again putting in a fastest first sector time with a 32.9 for that first sector. Bettering as well that second sector with a 28.660. We should see that lap time tumbling yet again as he finishes it with a 130.509. Aston Martin yet again looking so competitive. It is so great to see hopefully 3 teams battling it out for this Drivers' Championship this year. That's certainly what we hope. We definitely don't want the Red Bulls to run away with the championship this year. We want to see a lot of on-track action. We want to see people fighting for podiums and fighting it out for that Drivers' Championship. Currently looking between the sectors differences between the Aston Martin and Red Bull. Currently in Sector 1, the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso with a 32.9, closely followed by Sergio Perez, only 0.199 seconds behind him. Sector 2, much closer between the two, only 0.03 seconds splitting the two in Sector 2. And in Sector 3, Sergio Perez a lot faster than the Aston Martin, 0.148 seconds faster, even though Fernando Alonso currently holds that fastest lap time right now. Currently watching in the Red Bull pit lane as we see the Aston Martin getting ready again to go out. Ben saying in the comments, Max 3rd time now, Alonso seems strong this year. Yes, for sure. Obviously Max Verstappen only just getting out on track. Sergio Perez having had quite a few laps compared to him. I think the Red Bulls are currently doing some high fuel runs on those soft tires. So as they go along, their car obviously gets light on fuel and that lap time starts to drop. I'm sure we will see Max Verstappen putting in some faster times, as we see at the moment some mini sectors lighting up purple for him, a 32.9 for him in the first sector. Let's see what he can do in that second sector. Just having a look at the Haas front wing, it looks like they have a new sponsor of Chipotle. Certainly let's hope that's not what gave Max Verstappen that stomach bug, but great to see so many sponsors on that Haas car. Great that they are looking competitive as well. Just looking at some changes as well on that front wing. Looks like they have just planed it a little bit more from a straight top plane of that front wing. It looks like it is just wobbling a little bit more, just shaping that air, as Max Verstappen has now set a fastest middle sector and has put in a fastest time with a 1:30.494 with the fastest lap so far of this session. Max Verstappen obviously loving this track. Max can win again, but battles are nice to see, saying, coming from Ben. Yes, obviously great to always see drivers fighting it out for first place. We never want to see a driver just running away with a race like we saw on Bahrain. We want to see drivers fighting it out until the last lap. We don't want to just have a boring race where we don't see drivers battling it out. Hopefully we will see some great racing though here in Saudi Arabia. Obviously last two races that we've had here in Saudi Arabia have been super exciting. Certainly we hope that lives up for this race weekend yet again. Just watching an onboard of Max Verstappen. Let's see why they are showing this to us. Just hearing from Max Verstappen saying, going into turn 23, there's a lot of understeer. Oh, just watching him go over the curb. They're bouncing along that curb. Certainly not great for the floor. They will be checking that as soon as he gets back into the pits, I'm sure. Still out on track, though, for Max Verstappen, putting in some more lap times. Currently on a slow lap, just cooling those tires before he goes and puts in some more fast lap times for us today. Please do drop us a comment down in the comment section though. Let us know who you are supporting, who you think will be dominant here in Saudi Arabia, as well as don't forget to vote in our poll in the comment section who you think will make the biggest gains from Bahrain here into Saudi Arabia. Quite interesting to see so far that the Alpines are looking quite competitive in 4th and 5th on those medium tires. Obviously not many people running soft tires right now, as we see Lance Stroll going out on an outlap on a set of softs. A lot of drivers obviously in the pits right now, just waiting to get out on their second run of this first practice session. Ben saying, I hope Perez will be better this year. He may overrule Max for me. Certainly very interesting. Perez is obviously always been very competitive on street circuits. We'll have to see if he is able to bring the fight to Max Verstappen and those Aston Martins. Interesting to hear though in a press conference from Christian Horner, just getting asked, what can Sergio Perez do this season to bring the fight to Max Verstappen? His answer, better lap times. Of course, that is the crux of all of it really when you are a racing driver. But I just get the idea that Sergio is under a lot of pressure by that Red Bull team. Obviously, he has a lot to live up to with Max Verstappen as a teammate. Max being so strong in that car. Obviously, the car being made to suit Max, of course, being the current double world champion. But we certainly hope to see Sergio Perez taking a few more race wins this season. Currently watching Max yet again putting in another fast lap time, taking the first fastest sector again, just cutting his time down by a few tenths, putting in a 32.8 in the first sector, another purple second sector with a 28.4. Let's see if he can yet again take the fastest lap time of the session. Let's see what he can do. Seeing a couple more green mini sectors for him. 2 tenths up in that second sector. But let's see how many tenths he can take off in that final sector. A few more seconds to go. Yes, 130.0. I'm pretty sure that is a new lap record here in Saudi Arabia. Max obviously showing how he also loves street circuits. Here in 2021, where he had that brilliant qualifying lap, but then just in that last corner, he hit the wall. Just what would have been if he had taken that P1 in the qualifying session in 2021. Certainly one of the best qualifying laps in the past few years, just getting so close to the wall. That is what is so great about this street circuit. It's just all to play for. You've got walls so close to you. Obviously this year they have made a few changes to the circuit, moving walls a little bit further back, not to have as much peril, but still a very tricky circuit here in Saudi Arabia. Just a quick look there in the Mercedes garage. We saw Mick Schumacher, obviously the test and reserve driver for Mercedes this year. Certainly hoping to see him back out on track in the next year or two. Lots of rumors, obviously, that he will be, well, that he's linked to Audi for 2026. Ben saying, I think the Aston Martins might be strong this year. Yes, for sure, Ben. Those Aston Martins looking very competitive from race one. Great to see, of course. Always happy to see a new team bringing the fight to the top teams. And I mean, I predicted in testing that we might see a bit of a shake-up for those top three teams. As we see Charles Leclerc now out on a set of soft tyres, putting himself up into 6th position. Interesting, though, to see that Alex Albon on a set of soft tyres has put himself up into 4th position. His lap time is a 1:31.030, 1 second off of the lap time put down by Max Verstappen. Just watching a slow-mo replay of Charles Leclerc just hitting that curb in turn 22, looking quite aggressive, but also having a bit of understeer like Max Verstappen into that corner. Speaking of understeer, wow. Lewis Hamilton having massive understeer into turn 1, just going so wide, completely missing the apex, and then just having to cut turn 2 to be able to actually stay on track, really. As we see, who is this? Is this Alex Albon or Logan Sargent? It is Logan Sargent, currently starting a fast lap on a set of softs. Let's see what he can do here. Obviously, the circuit being quite smooth compared to Bahrain, which allows the teams not to have as bad tyre degradation throughout the race. This will be great news for Ferrari, who suffered tremendously throughout the Bahrain Grand Prix with tyre degradation. Hopefully this will allow them to take the fight to the Red Bulls and the Aston Martins. And we certainly hope to be seeing them fighting out till that last lap. Max Verstappen on another hot lap, just setting another fastest first sector time. Max clearly still not happy and just wanting to show that he has much more time on the board. Currently, we have most of the drivers out on circuit with the exception of Fernando Alonso, Sergio Perez, Pierre Gasly and Oscar Piastri, who are currently in the pits. Max Verstappen setting yet again a fastest sector 2 time. Let's see what his lap time will be. Great to have so many of you watching alongside us. Please do drop a like as well as subscribe to our channel if you are enjoying our content that we are putting out for you. Lots of content to come still throughout the rest of the season. We are obviously doing a lot of news streams on Mondays. We have our pre-race stream on a Thursday. And then as well as on Thursday, we also have our gaming stream, which we had playing before this session started. Lots of fun. Certainly not the greatest session for me yesterday, but still great fun to be a part of. Max Verstappen putting in a 1:29.8 on his last lap, beating that lap record by Lewis Hamilton right now. We have a few more comments down in the comment section. From Marcelo Ribeiro, bad laps for Ferrari so far. Yes, of course, we can't compare too much. We don't know what run plans they are all out on. Oh, sorry, let me say that again. We do not know what run plans they are all on at the moment. Currently, both Ferraris are on outlaps, so we could see them obviously on lower fuel runs right now. Hopefully, we will see them putting in some faster lap times. Second comment from Marcelo, top speed of Williams is good. Yes, certainly. Great to see Williams making such a big gain this year from last year. That is why we saw these regulations coming into place. Obviously, teams who finish further down in the Constructors' Championship are given more wind tunnel testing time for the next season, which allows them hopefully just to leapfrog a little bit. Ben saying, I'm also surprised Hulkenberg is doing so good this year. Yes, very interesting to see that Hulkenberg has come in and just dominated Kevin Magnussen so far, who has been in that car already for an entire season. Certainly very interesting to see from him. Then another comment from Marcelo Albon going crazy this season. Yes, it is great to see the character of Alex Albon. Certainly great to have him on circuit and in the paddock. Just such a good character. Obviously, I saw on Instagram the other day he has dyed his hair yet again, that platinum blonde. Certainly he think it is a good luck charm or something. It seems to be working, so keep at it, I guess, for Alexander Albon. Carlos Sainz now starting a hot lap for Ferrari on a set of soft tyres. Jasper Tan saying, I hope Mercedes will win and Lewis can get his 8th World Championship. Certainly a lot of work to do from that Mercedes team if they want to give Lewis a competitive car to challenge for another world title. Carlos Sainz looking very neat and tidy in turn 10 and 11 right now. Let's see what he can put in for his first sector time. Currently 0.3 seconds off of the pace of Max Verstappen going into turn 13. The big hairpin. Yes, Jasper, of course, very disappointing for a lot of Mercedes fans that Mercedes has just come into the season not able to compete from that first race. Obviously, they released that letter to their fans saying that they are disappointed themselves. They know how disappointed their fans are. They are disappointed in themselves. They are multiple world championships. Multiple world champions. They don't want to be fighting for 5th and 6th position. They're Mercedes. I mean, we expect to see them at the top of those time boards, but so far just dropping the ball right now. 22 minutes left of this practice session. Not long left to go, but still a lot of lap times to come out from all of the teams. Currently we have Max Verstappen in first position, Fernando Alonso in second, Sergio Perez third, George Russell in fourth, Lewis Hamilton in fifth, Carlos Sainz in sixth for Ferrari, Alex Albon in seventh for Williams, which is great to see. Nico Hulkenberg and Kevin Magnussen in 8th and 9th for the Haas's, and Charles Leclerc in 10th position. Not looking good for Scuderia from Marcelo Ribeiro, saying right now, no, obviously, once again, we do not know what run plans they are on. They may still be on high fuel runs right now, but it is very unknown. Obviously, these track conditions not too similar to what we will be seeing on Sunday, as Sunday's race is under the lights, not under the heat of the Saudi Arabian sun. So track temperature will be much different. Tyres will be able to react very differently with the track. Oof, just seeing again. I think that is Carlos Sainz just taking a chunk of curb and seeing that car bottoming out a bit as he does that. Watching on board with Lance Stroll. Ooh, catching so much traffic. Catching two cars. My word. That could have been a massive incident there. Just not good from the teams, not letting their drivers know that there's a faster car approaching them from behind. That could have been a massive incident there. Glad, though, that he was able to keep it clean. He just had to dive off of the racing line to be able to miss those two drivers. Under the visor of Lewis Hamilton right now, massive understeer there. Just saying on the radio, struggling for grip. How much time are people finding? His race engineer saying currently thinking about half a second, so 0.5. still a lot of time for those Mercedes to make up. Mercedes obviously saying that they would be bringing some noticeable changes to their car this race weekend. So far, I have not been able to see any major changes, but we will have to keep an eye on them. Obviously, they could be using their old spec car in first practice session and then changing to their B spec in practice 2 to be able to correlate the difference between the two, seeing if they are able to find extra time or if possibly their upgrades just don't work. 19.5 minutes left of this session as we see Oscar Piastri putting in another dismal time for McLaren. Only P19 for Piastri and P17 for Lando Norris. Certainly not great to see. I mean, as a McLaren fan myself, I would be expecting them to be a lot higher up the grid. Obviously, last year fighting for 4th in the Constructors' Championships, and now just all the way back at the end of the grid. I mean, really not great. Marcelo Ribeiro is saying they're finally McLaren on track. Yes, but not great lap times so far from them. I'm going to jump off the stream for a minute or two just to grab some more water. I will be back with you in a few seconds. I am back again. Sorry for that. I just needed to go and grab some water. Obviously, commentating on my own gets a bit tiring at times. But still 170 of you watching alongside me. Thank you very much for joining me in this Practice 1 session. Just on an onboard with the McLaren. Just looking a little bit untidy in turn 1 and 2. Just looking at Andrea Stella, having a look at all of the telemetry down at McLaren. Watching Fernando Alonso yet again out on track, setting a personal best time with a 1:30.3. Still a bit of a gap to go to Max Verstappen. I think about 500 still to go to Max Verstappen. Quite a big gap between Verstappen and Alonso. As we see, Sergio Perez is out on an outlap yet again. We saw the car up on the jacks for a little bit, possibly making some setup changes for Sergio. Max Verstappen still, though, in the pits, so not getting out on track just yet, possibly making some more changes. As I said, yes, I was exactly correct. 500.5 splitting P2 and P1 right now, as we see the McLaren going back into the pits. Just watching a close-up of the Williams wing at the moment. Very interesting to see that they have a little flick up on their wing. Just something new for this race weekend. Looks like they are doing some work though on the back of the car by the exhaust. Apparently not necessarily routine for practice, so it could be an issue. We see the Williams mechanics though standing in front of the cameras. So certainly an issue there at the rear of Alex Albon's car. Sergio Perez on an outlap right now. Not setting any faster sectors right now, but I think, yes, as he starts backing off before the first, the final corner. Interesting to see these brakes of that Williams. Just so much detail going into that front, or brake element, as we see Sergio Perez going a little bit wide, kicking up some dust. As I see, we have now over 200 people joining us for free practice 1. We currently still have over 15 minutes left of this session. Thank you very much for joining. Please do leave us a like, leave us a comment in the comment section, vote in our poll who you think will make the biggest advances from last race weekend to this race weekend, and also just drop any questions for us in the comment section. There is also in our description a video letting you know how to watch the Formula One alongside us. So please do check that out. It looks like we have that Williams getting ready to go back out on track. Max Verstappen, though, is still in the pits right now, as Fernando Alonso has just also been wheeled back into the pits. Most of the cars are currently in the pits right now, with a few cars doing outlaps. Perez on an outlap, George Russell as well on an outlap, and a few other cars still out on track. We still have Nick de Vries, Oscar Piastri, Yuki Tsunoda, and Pierre Gasly all out on track. Interesting to see the difference between Nick de Vries and Yuki Tsunoda right now, currently on the same tyres, but Nick de Vries up in 10th position and Yuki down in P15. Certainly not great for Yuki Tsunoda, who's been with that team for 2 years, and Nick de Vries obviously in his first race, his first season with AlphaTauri. Just following on board with Pierre Gasly, who went quite wide into turns 22, just having a lot of understeer, possibly now coming through the final corner, having a little twitch of the rear end, having to correct that, but now coming up to finish this lap. Let's see where that puts him. Puts him up into P11 for the Alpine. Very interesting to see that Alpine is obviously just so much more fast compared to the McLarens, who they were fighting with last season, just as we see a replay of him going super wide there into turn 22. Just saying he's having issues with the brakes at the moment, which certainly does not give your driver much confidence. Interesting to see at the rear of that car, those gurneys just being so aggressive compared to the other teams. Few comments coming through from Ben and Mark. Ben saying, I hope 1 Perez, 2 Max, and 3 Alonso for this race to win in this sequence. Yes, it would be certainly interesting to see if Sergio Perez can bring the fight to Max Verstappen. Obviously, we think that Verstappen is going to be very competitive, obviously half a second ahead of anyone else right now in this practice session. Mark saying, I think Verstappen surely takes the win again, maybe Alonso P2. So far, it looks like Alonso is showing great pace here in Saudi Arabia. Certainly amazing to see so many teams fighting for those top positions. Jasper saying, yeah, I don't know what he is. I think possibly just talking to the other people down there in the comment section. Ben saying Max dominates so much. Yes, we are certainly in the Max Verstappen domination era at the moment. Max just looking so comfortable in these new generation of cars. 11 minutes and 20 seconds left of this session. Certainly very exciting so far to see cars back out on track here in Saudi Arabia. 210 people currently joining us on our stream. Thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you all here. Please do drop a comment down in the comment section letting us know where you are watching from, as well as who you are supporting, or any other questions you have for me. I will try to the best of my abilities to answer them, as we see Max Verstappen back out on track with another first fastest sector time. Lewis Hamilton out at the moment on a set of hards, not setting any personal bests, but just putting in some data for the Mercedes. Max currently 0.45 seconds up on his second sector time, as he now comes over the line with a 1:29.7 to further better his fastest lap. Just so close to the wall we see Max Verstappen getting. It's just incredible how these drivers are able to judge with these wide cars. These cars are so huge compared to the cars of old. I mean, but still, they are able to keep them within track limits as well as not hit the walls. I just found it absolutely incredible to see. Amazing to see as well Max Verstappen still able to come out after having a stomach bug for a few days, not able to complete any media session that he had scheduled, and then only coming to the track yesterday afternoon or evening, as we see Jos Verstappen in the pits with Sir Jackie Stewart as well in the background. Max Verstappen's father and Jackie Stewart, a big friend of everyone in Formula One, as well as a friend of Red Bull, obviously being there in the Red Bull garage. Just watching an onboard of Max Verstappen coming through. Just a little bit of understeer coming into turn 22, but still keeping it neat and tidy. Hitting that curb, but still well within track limits. Just not great though to see the floor hitting that curb. Certainly something that the teams will be wanting to watch. Track is certainly getting rubbered in, so we will see these lap times falling throughout this session as well as practice 2 later this evening. Practice 2, I think we'll be seeing teams putting in a lot faster laps, of course, as this will be a lot more similar to what we will have on Sunday as well as qualifying on Saturday evening. Interesting to hear that there's a bit of a strange smell coming from the car of Sergio Perez. I don't know what that may be, possibly oil or something else. Looks like he is going quite slow out on track right now, possibly coming back into the pits. Very interesting though to hear that. I haven't heard that too much in the past. I don't know how you can really fix that. It might be the plank under the car. Interesting to see race control noting black and white flag for Lando Norris for failing to follow race director's instructions. Hopefully we will not see any action being taken for that. We don't know what the infringement was, but I'm sure we'll get some more information on that as the race, the practice session unfolds. Just having a look at our poll yet again, if I can find it here. So, which team do you expect to make the most progress from Bahrain? Currently, the votes are saying 44% for Ferrari, 36% saying Mercedes, 8% McLaren, and 12% other. Certainly a lot of people hoping that Mercedes and Ferrari will be able to make some big gains this week. Ooh, as we see Lance Stroll going super deep into turn 22, completely missing that chicane, but still keeping it on track, not going into the wall, thank goodness. Lance Stroll has now completely backed off of that lap. 6 minutes and 40 seconds left of this session. Certainly some great running that we have seen throughout so far. Please do drop a comment for us in the comment section letting us know where you are watching from. Great to know where our audience is from. I myself am in South Africa at the moment, if you could not catch from the accent. But yes, great to have people from all over watching with us. Last race weekend, we had people coming from India, from the USA, from Switzerland. Just so great to have people from all different nations joining us here on Forever Sports. Not much left of the session, 4 minutes and 45 seconds left, but still a lot of running that teams can do. Max Verstappen yet again on an outlap. Let's see if he can put in another fastest lap time. Fernando Alonso as well on another outlap. Hamilton as well, but that puts now everyone out on track for this session. Jasper Tan saying, I'm watching from Singapore. Great to have you, Jasper, watching from Singapore. I'm sure you will be watching with great interest the Singapore Grand Prix later this year. Certainly very jealous that you are able to be so close to a Formula One race. Miguel Herrera saying, watching from Costa Rica. Great to have you. Herbert saying, I'm watching from Uganda. Thank you very much for watching alongside with us. Great to have you. Herbert saying Lewis Hamilton is winning. I don't know if we're watching the same practice session, Herbert, but Lewis Hamilton is currently down in P5. Mercedes obviously still trying to get to the bottom of that car. Certainly going to be watching them with great interest throughout the rest of this race weekend and throughout the rest of the season to see if they are able to bring the fight back to the top 3 teams. Hamilton currently on a hard tyre run at the moment, so not putting in any fastest sector times right now, but still looking very calm and collected out on track. Max Verstappen has put in a fastest middle sector right now and is about to finish another lap. Let's see if he is able. Yes, he is. 1:29.6. He is able to put in another fastest lap time for the session. I don't know how to say your name, Nivles. That's how I'm going to say it, but you are watching from Ottawa, Canada. Thank you very much for watching with us. Just so great to have people from all over the world watching alongside us with us. Not much left of the session. 3 minutes and 20 seconds as we watch a replay of Lewis Hamilton just coming up on some traffic going into turn 22, just having a bit of understeer as he goes through the turn and just completely has to go wide throughout that chicane, completely missing the turn. Obviously, having run for a few laps now on those hards, they may be a little bit more degraded, as we now see Charles Leclerc starting a hot lap, possibly the last hot lap of the session. Looks like he is not using that rear wing, so possibly doing some race simulations. Let's see what he can do though throughout this lap. Sergio Perez has now put himself up into second position with a 1:30.1. Great to see Sergio Perez once again fighting for those top times. We see Lance Stroll has now put in a fast lap time and put himself up into 4th position. Great to see that these Aston Martins are so competitive. We certainly want to be seeing those Ferraris, though, getting a bit closer to the top 5. Certainly interesting that they are not there at the moment. Only down in P7 for Carlos Sainz and P11th for Charles Leclerc. Lots of porpoising, though, happening in this onboard right now, with Charles Leclerc looking very, very uncomfortable. Certainly not what they would be wanting. Just watching in the visor cam of Charles Leclerc, how that car is bouncing through that fast sector, going over the curbs. Very difficult for them to see, of course, when they porpoise so much like that. 1 minute though and 30 seconds left of this session. Charles Leclerc, though, obviously having a 10th place grid penalty this race weekend due to taking a new controlled electronics. Certainly disappointing for Ferrari, but unfortunate, and it is what happens though when you go over the allocated 2 controlled electronics for the season. You will be taking a 10th place grid penalty. Obviously they had to take that extra unit because they replaced their controlled electronics just before the race in Bahrain, and then they failed throughout that race, which caused the DNF for Charles Leclerc. Under a minute now left to go as we see Max Verstappen coming now, I think, through the last... Yes, coming through the last corner. DRS wide open again. Let's see if he can set another fastest lap for this session. Across the line now to start the lap. 30 seconds left of the session, so if you want to get another lap time underway, you have to do it very soon. So far not setting a personal best in Sector 1. Let's see what he can do throughout Sectors 2 and 3. So far not setting any personal best. Many sectors though, so not looking like he will be bettering his time at all right now. Robert saying hi from the Philippines. Great to have you, Robert. Thank you very much for joining us. Please do hit the like button and subscribe if you want to join us throughout the rest of this race weekend and throughout the rest of the season. Please don't forget to vote in our poll in the comments section though, for who you think will make the biggest gains from last race weekend to this race weekend. So far, we have Ferrari leading that poll by 44%, closely followed by Mercedes with 36%, as we see Max Verstappen going through the middle sector, 0.017 up on his fastest time, and puts in another fastest lap right as the clock ticks down here in Saudi Arabia. Max setting a 129.617, currently looking so dominant here in Saudi Arabia. The closest lap time to him, though, is a 130.1. Currently 0.483 seconds ahead of his teammate of Sergio Perez. So far this weekend, obviously everyone finishing their laps. Practice 1 is now finished for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Please do stick around though. We will be just recapping a bit and then going into Practice 2 later this evening. We will set up another stream for all of you. So, just a bit of a recap of Practice 1. Quite a lot of running throughout that practice. Obviously, lots of interesting things to look for. So far, the Aston Martins looking very competitive, closely following the Red Bulls. But obviously, the takeaway from that, Red Bull yet again looking so dominant. Max Verstappen with a fastest lap time of a 129.617, followed in second place by Sergio Perez with a 130.1. Big gap though between the two teammates, 0.4 seconds splitting those two. Closely behind Sergio Perez is Fernando Alonso with a sorry, I don't have his time here, but also with a 130. And then behind him is Lance Stroll, followed by George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Then behind Lewis Hamilton is Carlos Sainz. Interesting to see that we do not have those Ferraris just yet up into those top 5 positions. We certainly thought that Ferrari would be challenging for the top 5 this race weekend. Ferrari obviously having quite a lot of top end pace, but on some onboards I just saw that they are battling a bit with porpoising. Certainly not going to be giving their drivers too much confidence going into this race. Hopefully they will be able to sort that out though before practice 2. If not, then they still have practice 3 to get it under control before qualifying. But great to see that Mercedes are looking quite strong so far, with Russell in P5 and Hamilton in P6. Then Sainz in P7, Gasly for Alpine in P8, which is quite interesting to see. Most interesting though is Alex Albon in P9 right now for Williams. Great to see that Williams have made such big gains from last year. Yuki Tsunoda finishing up our top 10 for AlphaTauri, followed closely by Charles Leclerc in P11. Certainly not where the Ferraris are expected to be right now, down in P11. Finishing up our top 20 is Esteban Ocon in P12, Nick De Vries P13, Oscar Piastri in P14, Nico Hulkenberg P15, followed by his teammate Kevin Magnussen in P16, Logan Sargent P17, Valtteri Bottas P18, followed by his teammate Guan Yu Zhou in P19, and then Lando Norris in P20. Certainly a very dismal day for McLaren yet again. Thank you though for watching with us here on Forever Sports. Certainly going to be a very interesting race weekend ahead of us. Please do continue to tune into all of our streams. We still have practice 2 ahead of us later this evening, as well as practice 3 tomorrow, qualifying as well tomorrow evening, and then the race on Sunday. We will also be streaming all of the Formula 2 and Formula 3 events, so please do subscribe to stay tuned for all of our live streams. Thank you very much though for watching, and cheers from me. I have been Reese, And this has been Forever Motorsports on Forever Sports. Cheers. Bye.